Hi everybody, you are watching Palmistry with Peggy. This is Peggy Arvidsson, that's me, the soul coach and hand analyst. I love what I do because I get to guide people to their own best answers, and I use a tool that is unique to only them, and that tool is their hands. I use both hands. I read them long distance. I'm actually learning how to use this whole video telephone concept so that we can do our long distance readings, but we can actually look at each other, so I can hold up my hand and say, we're talking about this here. I can show them the picture of their print, which I'm excited about. It's all new, but I'll play with it. I'll figure out how to make it work. So anyway, I have to answer this question because I get it all the time. People look at me, I live in a pretty conservative place, although I have some, I have friends from all different walks of life. But the Washington, D.C. area isn't known for its avant-garde, trendy, trying new things, being necessarily a hotbed of new age or alternative thinking. Now, there's brilliant people everywhere, so I'm not knocking where I live. I love where I live. We have some of the smartest, some of the brightest, some of the most passionate people about the world right here in the Washington, D.C. area, so I'm not knocking it. But when people find out that I read hands, I get a lot of little funny looks every now and again, like, you do what? Why do you do that? Did you always do that? Did you always know you wanted to read hands? So I gotta come clean. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to take books about astrology and palmistry and tarot out of the library in my small town in New Jersey when I was growing up. And I would dabble in these things, and then it just was so much complication, all these books with all these pictures and so much stuff to learn and to know. And I would come back to palmistry, actually. I've been thinking about this lately, that every time I went through a massive shift in a serious, significant relationship, one-to-one relationship, and a massive shift being it was a breakup, or somebody was cheating on somebody, or whatever. There was lots of things. There's other stories for other times, but I would go back to these books on palmistry. I would either get more out of the library, I would dig them out of my closet or my attic, wherever I was living, and I would determined that I was going to find some answers. I was going to predict my future. If only I could figure out my future, I wouldn't get so worked up about these relationships, right? Yeah, wrong. But I kept going back to palmistry. Clearly it was a tool that was there for me, although I wasn't making the connection. I was climbing the corporate ladder. I was building a career in sales and marketing, and actually doing quite well in that. Again, another story for another time. So I didn't know that I wanted to come out of the closet and become a hand reader. I just knew that there was something intriguing about it for me, that there was some science, there was some method to this madness that was intriguing to me. So back in 2000, I think it was 2003, 2004, I was running my own business. I had started my own business, and I was working with a fabulous coach, and I was going through a lot of, there's no other way to say it, a lot of crap in my marriage. And so while my business was great, and I had great friends and super clients and a wonderful team of people that worked for me, I was still feeling like there was something missing. What's missing? And I mentioned this to my business coach, who said, you need to get your hands read. And I thought, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me, right? Because I still hadn't made the connection that I had these books on palmistry. I was still thinking about the ladies in the walk-up, $20 for 5 minutes to tell you you're going to meet somebody tall, dark, and handsome, which was lovely, but not really what I was looking for. So when she said, get your hands read, I thought, oh, all right, whatever. Every time I listen to my coach, I make more money, and I have more success, and I feel better, so yeah, I'll do it. So I got my hands read, and I admit, I was really hoping that this hand analyst person was going to tell me to leave my husband and everything would be fine. I wanted, really, let's think about it. I actually wanted to hand over my relationship, the biggest decisions I needed to make in my life. I wanted to hand that over to a complete stranger who had a picture of my hands, right? Because she was in Tucson, I was here in the D.C. area. So she didn't tell me that but she told me so much more. She really opened up all of these possibilities. Inspire, doesn't that translate to sort of like breathing life into you? She kind of breathed the life back into me, reminded me of who I was and why I was here, and maybe why I was feeling disconnected, which, yeah, sure, part of that had to do with my husband. We never even talked about that. Those were my choices I had made to learn some lessons. And she put it in a way that made me feel so comfortable with who I was. I also was a little overwhelmed because I knew there was a lot of work that was going to need to be done. But I was intrigued, and at this point I thought, I want to know how she does that, because this is different than all those books that led me to believe that you could predict my future with my hands. She's not predicting my future. She's laying out some different scenarios, kind of like, if you go down this path, this will happen, and if you go down this path, this will happen, but you get to choose which path do you want to take. It's all in your hands. So as a result of that one reading back in 2004, I chose to study with this woman and become a certified hand analyst. And then I have to admit, I was a little scared about telling people that I read hands for a living. I was trying to mask it in all of these different things. I'm a life coach, or I'm a business coach, and all of these things come into the readings. People come to me because they're looking for more. They're looking for deeper inspiration for themselves, for their lives. They want to have better relationships. You don't need to put up with whatever it is you're putting up with. But we have to find that place in ourselves that gives us permission and insight into our worth. How much are you worth? I know you're worth a lot. Maybe you just need to reconnect. It's in your hands. It really is. They've never let me down. My hands have never let me down, and they've never let my clients down. It's a life-altering opportunity. Anyway, so no, I didn't always know that I was going to be a hand analyst. In fact, I personally believe everybody's psychic. It's not required. All you need to do is be willing to be there and be a guide. So if you want more information about hand analysts, hand analysis, learning this skill, or just having your hands read, or a laser reading, I encourage you to email me, handanalystpro@comcast.net, or visit my website at www.intuitiveevolution.com. Thanks for participating today. This is Peggie Arvidson, and this is Palmistry with Peggie. Take care.